everyone. So for today's video, I am going to be doing it by myself, but I'm going to explain a little bit of what I'm trying to do with the kids, and hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I am going to be in and out of the shot because there's only a limited amount of space, so I'm going to try this the best possible I can. Usually this works out because you could do this, for me at least, I would usually do this with preschoolers, and it works out fine. But it just depends. It all just depends on how much you want to do it. I'm doing this for kindergartners. Kind of know where preschool is at. So especially when they're trying to get kindergarten readiness, and so and measurements and stuff like that. So hopefully this makes sense. But let me get started. So my first thing that I would be doing is introducing the materials to the students, and one of the things that I do most of the time is kind of put a way of doing this is I will introduce the three materials I'm using currently, and you might see my cat, by the way, in here in the video. Please do not worry. She likes being on video. Okay, so here are the three materials that I want to introduce today. One of them being, there's a slate, and this is going to be the mimic of my blacks, but instead of that, I'm using the soap bottle. Usually, obviously, again, we would use blacks if we needed to, and the card. And so I would say, okay, with these three items, what do you guys think that we can make? Some of the students might say, we can make a garage, we can make a bridge, we can make a ramp, a house, just depending on what they want to say. I would say in this initial part, I would only introduce one block and not more than one, just because you want them to start building a little bit of knowledge on how they're going to come up with different results. So I would say, okay, so for today, what we want to work on is a ramp. What we would do is, what can you do in order to make a ramp? So I would show them this. And so I will let them show me. And then if it's exactly what I want, I will continue with there. But if they don't know, or they don't have necessarily an idea, I would say, okay, what I think making a ramp would be if I put a block under, and then I put this slate in there, right? And this ramp, in order to become a ramp, it has to be slanted. So that's one of the words that we could use. And it has to be, we have up and down and up. So in order for the car to go down, which way will we have to put the car? Will we have to put it on top of the ramp or on the bottom of the ramp? What would happen if we put it on either or sides? And just depending on that, we will say, okay, yeah, we have to start from the beginning, from the top of the ramp. And now what we're going to do is we're going to let the car go and see what it does. So what did the car do? It went down. The car went down. And I see something. So I saw that the car was going down. Did you guys think that the car was going fast or slow? Depending on some of the kids, they might say, oh, it went fast. Why do you think it went fast? Some of them might say slow. Why do you think they went slow? And then from there, we're going to also trigger, okay, so if the car went slow, let us start thinking about what we could do in order to make it go fast. We would also talk about the distance. I've noticed that as the car is going down, it went over one square. So let's take a note. Our car, when having one block, it went as far as one square over the ramp. Okay, so now what can we do in order to make the car go faster? And then I would allow the students to say their answers, and in this case it could be, hey, in order to make the car go faster, we could start the car from farther up. We could start the car from here. What if we drop the car down? What if we move the ramp closer to the edge of the table? What if we use some other placement to put the car? And then I would say, okay, so what would happen if they do answer the correct thing? Then I would say, okay, so if we add another block, let's see how far the car would go. Okay, so we added a second part. So now you see two parts here. And now we're going to use the car. Now here's the other thing too. Using the same car, pretty cool idea. Eventually you can use two cars on there and see which car goes faster. But at this point we're going to use one car. So I would say, okay, so now that we added two, we're going to put 2 blocks in our paper. 2 blocks. And let's see how far it goes. So we're going to start it from the top. So now what did you notice in this turn? I've noticed that when we put 2 blocks, the car goes 3 squares over. Was the car going faster or slower than the last time? It actually was going faster because now it has a higher point where to drop, and our piece of wood or cardboard or whatever it is more slanted, or it's higher up. So we could continue using those words. Now, the next step to this would be, what would you do? Okay, so now it's going faster. What would happen if you put 2 cars together going down on the slanted piece of cardboard or material? Would they go fast? Would they go slow? Is there differences between the cars? I would always also, if you wanted to, I could put an additional piece of block and say, hey, now that we have 3 blocks, what is happening to the car? How much faster is the car going? Is it going pretty slow? Is it going pretty fast? And with this said, we can also start using a timer. So what I could do is have a timer or have them count as the car is going down. So I would say, okay, so now we're going to add a 3rd piece. Let's start again. Let's see how fast it goes when I just put 1 piece. So we go back to the 1 block. It takes, let's see how many seconds it takes. So I'm going to put it down and I'm going to throw it down. Ready, set, go. 1, 2. And so I will put 2 seconds. And then how about when it has 2? So let me get the car back again. And let's do this. Ready, set, go. Fine. So again, this one took 1 second to go up. To go down, sorry. So then that would be that. It just depends on where the students will decide to do it, or where they want to go. And then there's another question. This is a really smooth piece of wood. What would happen if we use cardboard instead of this smooth part? Or what would happen if we use bubble wrap? Or what would happen if we use some other type of material in order to do the ramp? Would it be different? Another question that I had, do you believe that speed comes from the car or from the ramp? So when we're talking about the speed, we could say, hey, so I noticed that now we have 2 blocks here. And so I want to know where the speed is coming from. Is it that the car is going fast, or is it that these blocks are making the car faster? And why would you think so? At this point, obviously, we know that the car does not have it. We could ask, does the car have any power? No. So we could say, okay, so the car doesn't have power, so there has to be something that's helping it push. So what I think what might be happening is that because we have these 2 bottles here, is creating a little bit of force in order to go down. So because this is upwards and gravity has to push it downwards, you have to go down, right? I hope that's what I'm saying, and I'm saying it correctly. But because you have something that helps it go down, which is this ramp, is pushing the car down, or not pushing it, but it's allowing the car to go down. So again, those are the questions that would go. And then the other thing that I would say is, can you change the speed of the car? So in this case, when we already noticed that the car goes fast, that we can make the ramp go up and down. We can make the car go farther out if we put it upper, like if we put it farther up. And so we could say, okay, in order to make the speed go faster, what we could do is, you know, we could let the students say, okay, the car goes faster if you pull this up, because then it's easier, you know, to make the car go faster. But it just all depends. I would say in this case, I would also make a chart if I wanted to, and then from there go and create different ramps, and then talk about the forces and what's pushing them and what makes them faster and slower, and also use different types of cars at that point. But I think that would be all for the lesson. Again, some of the words is slow, fast, speed, distance, travel. You could do a lot more other questions. I mean, I think there's so many words that you could do, but then again, you could do it with just simple pieces of wood, and then something different. You know, instead of using the blocks, you could use something like this. But if you have blocks, use the blocks in order to do it. I guess that's all. It's a little bit harder to teach, you know, when there's no kids, but at least we were able to see. I hope you were able to see what I was talking about in my lesson plan. Thank you so much. Bye.